Hello everybody, you're very welcome to the channel Clear Minds and Self-Healing. My name is Aso and I want to start by saying a huge thank you to everybody. I've had such an amazing feedback that I'm just pumped and motivated to keep putting the content out there. People are telling me that they've been touched by the messages, that they see the value in themselves, that they've been ignited to seek change. And that is exactly the point of this content sharing. I'm all about social advocacy. I'm all about self-healing empowerment, reflection with the need to change your mindset, to empower yourself to do something different, something bigger. So every feedback that I'm getting is really just giving me the idea that it's working exactly how I perceived it. So here we are today, going on to a completely new topic. Today, I want us to talk about broken ladders. Broken ladders, just to as part of that reflection on our abilities, reflection on the opportunities that come our way, reflection on what we do with those opportunities, and reflection on how much more we can be doing, how differently we can approach those things, and really, what does mindset mean? I've chosen broken ladders because we see them all over the place. Some of them are beautiful, full functioning opportunities that are placed in our paths and we throw them away because they look broken. They look too good to be true. They look unreal. They look fake. Others are actually broken. They're broken by the way they're presented to us. They're broken because they're ill-intentioned gifts, and they're broken for several reasons. But as we go through this life, for some of us, we inherit broken ladders. We inherit them from our parenting, or that's what our parents had. They hand over their own broken values, broken self-esteem, and everything that impacted on us becomes our own defined identity. Those health conditions that come without anything that we could have done about them, they become part of our identities. Those war-torn countries that we come from, that stopped us from going to the fullest potential in education, social skills, the sense of love for each other and empathy, as opposed to teaching us to kill and murder and cheat and discriminate against each other. We come from those countries and they become part of our identity just by birth. And so we inherit those identities of laziness, procrastination, or we get really secure, really beautiful, really firm built ladders handed over to us from birth. At another level, we were handed those, but we destroyed them. We crash down those ladders ourselves with anger, with insecurities, what we're absorbing from the environment, the pandemic, and just the lack of belief in our ability to climb to those heights that we see presented in those ladders. And so the ladders are there, but our ability to reach to their highest heights is broken for one reason or the other. So the one group inherited broken ladders, broken mindsets, broken abilities or tools to get to those heights. And the other group has the beautiful, everything handed over to them, but the abilities and the will or the skills to get to those heights are not there for one reason or the other. And then we find that we are both struggling at different levels and for different reasons as we go through life. But I'm here today to challenge you to see those broken ladders from different points of view so that you can try and resolve those stagnations that you've been facing in your life. Now, let's take the first group of people who see the star at the end of a ladder. You start by seeing that dream that you want to reach, and then you build a ladder that meets the needs of that dream or that height. So I want to be the CEO of Clear Minds and Self-Healing. What does that even mean? I don't know. So let's find out. I'm going to find out. I'm going to Google, what does that company mean to you? I want to empower people. I want to shift minds. I want to motivate them to move from one place of their lives to the other. I want to teach people that self-healing is possible. It's within your reach. I want to teach people that we can heal from all the anger, from all the insecurities that have been placed on us by whatever we've been through. We can educate ourselves, even when we come from those war-torn countries that lock us indoors. So you start to investigate and you start to add step by step on your ladder. But we started by seeing that star, and then we build our way to its reach. For other people, we start on the first step. We figure out a step and we do it, and then we add the next step, and then we add the next step, and then one day we wake up at the beautiful star reach where we can then harvest. Sadly, most of us get confused between the 0 to step 20, or we reach step 20 so fast we crash and burn, and then we recoil because we didn't build a perfect runway. We minimize the impact of the runway. We see the beautiful end star as the success or the most important thing, but the quality of your runway is what is going to launch you into that success, because you've taken the time to reflect on what's needed and what you need to add to it. You've taken the time to find the tools, the right ones that will get you to that height, to gain the skills, to build on your mindset and tell yourself that you can do this. You've taken the time to find the support alongside that knowledge, and then you've taken the steps that are needed to get to that thing. Even if you trip and fall in the middle, you would have known where you went wrong and what you can glue and stick and fix to carry on, or to pull back and start the steps over. I think we define ourselves as one thing or the other, and then we become stuck on those things. Like, I'm a ladder climber, I'm a ladder mender, I'm a ladder builder, I'm a ladder borrower, or I've just got broken ladders and I don't know how to perceive or to proceed. Other people see that they are not ladder climbers, or they don't like or they don't know the ladder, and they find a bridge. They get on other tools. They find alternative methods to get to that end destination, as opposed to get stuck on their broken ladders. My ladders are inadequate. Because for some of us, even if you give us the most beautiful, perfectly formed, perfectly built ladders, we will still dismiss them as too good to be true. We will dismiss them as too tiny for our big weights. Oh, I'm too old. I'm already halfway through this level or this life of whatever. I don't see how I can get back on that ladder. I am too short. The ladder is too tall. The steps are too unstable. We find those excuses to minimize those opportunities. We find those excuses to minimize our qualities, to minimize the value of our scars, of our everything that embodies us. You can put into the steps of those ladders. If it doesn't fit, and then what? What else can I do? What other steps can I take? We don't get stuck on your broken ladder pieces. That's not an excuse to not continue, to not rebuild, to not borrow, to not learn, to not change the action, change the process, change the tool, change the support network. Build on what do you need to move from that point A to that point B. Have you ever walked into a room and seen a child stacking up chairs or whatever other dangerously hanging stack of racks to get to a candy bar, a toy, a chocolate bar that you've put away from them? They reach it against all odds because they are so keen on that destination, because the definitions are not yet implanted in their minds of inadequacy or limitations. Like, they are so clean, so fresh, and so pumped to reach that goal of whatever they are seeking, that they have dismissed all the endless excuses and risks that we often as adults see within our environments, because we've been raised to be adverse to our limitations as opposed to our potentials. So I dare you to cautiously explore life, not dismissing safety like the child would be, but asking yourself, and then what? What are the alternatives? If you build your identity around, I'm a ladder climber, as opposed to I'm not a ladder climber, you're claiming as opposed to being defensive. In that way, then, if you're not a ladder climber, what can you do? Can you learn? Can you climb something else? Because if you're a go-getter, the question becomes, what next? Or what's the alternative? As opposed to, it's broken. It's too good to be true. It's too far. It's too small. It's too old. What is the broken state of your ladder? And what can you do about it? What level are you at? We often rush to the star at level 20 and forget to build those beautiful runways. The runways of knowledge, the runways of mindset and reflection, the runway that gives you the chance to take away all the risk around the ladder, so that when you climb with certainty that even if you trip and fall, you'll just be falling on the beautiful soft landing that you've prepared for yourself. And then you're going to get up and climb again. If you don't reach for the stars before you've even built the runway, if you don't ignore the power of the first step, which is the bottom step, you will get that understanding that it is achievable. Go from point 1 to point 20 without getting stuck, without minimizing the vision of that initial first goal, because that's what's going to give you the drive. That's what's going to give you the reach. When you set that beautiful resounding goal that you need, that fits your needs, you will find a ladder whose tools will get you to that destination. But if your goal is not enticing enough, you will not see the need to rethink, to redefine, to find those alternative climbing methods that will get you to that goal. What goal are you setting for yourself? What value are you seeing in yourself? What's that inner child telling you? What branches are you breaking in that inner voice? What do you need to build them up so that you can reach for those stars? We often minimize the value in that middle ground. You go from step 0 to 80%, and when you trip, you get stuck in the laughter from society. You get stuck in your own laughter. You went from 0 to 80. That's something valuable that you can adjust and ignite and look into to get to 120 in your next attempt, as opposed to go back and cry at your broken ladders. Are you a ladder builder? Are you a ladder mender? Are you a ladder sharer? Are you a ladder alternative climbing person who can fly or who can use other ways to elevate themselves to those goals, as opposed to get stuck in their ladder crisis? Are you breaking them down with your anger? Because for all other lot of us, we pass those opportunities with the excuses of the insecurities that we see in them, that we see in us. That ladder is not beautiful. That chance looks too good to be true, and yet people come along and grab them and use them right before our eyes, because the possibilities are always there. They're always there if you dare to mend that ladder, if you dare to rebuild it, if you dare to seek that knowledge that will elevate you to the stars that are placed at the top of those broken ladders. So here's a challenge for you. Broken ladders does not mean broken dreams. Broken ladders is an invitation for you to rethink how to get to those dreams, rethink how to build those skills, rethink the support that you need to get to those end destinations, or rethink the dreams, because if you're not climbing, they're not big enough to push you to find those big ladders. So is it the dreams that are broken, or is it the ladders that are broken? Because I bet you your value is so amazing that you can reach any star at any height. If you dare to make those dreams big enough, you would dare to build big enough ladders, or you would dare to find alternatives to those broken ones that you've been handed down by life. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please tell me what you're feeling. Please share and motivate and show your love to others. Yes, guys, I've decided to throw in this slide at the end just to make this learning embedded, just to give you that visual element of things as well. If we look at the young man here who has been presented with this beautiful opportunity, with something really compelling at the end of that ladder, but because of their broken mindset, all they see is the limitations, everything that can possibly go wrong, how many trips and falls, the stereotype, what people will think, whether it's even a real opportunity. Does it seem too good to be true? You give yourself every excuse not to get on that ladder because you're worried about the outcome, you're worried about your scars and your shortcomings. For other people, though, they set that compelling goal at the end of the ladder and they just go for it. And sometimes they even set the goal without a ladder. You want this star, you want it no matter what, so you find everything that you need to get there. You find the ladder that reaches it. You get the tools, the material, the learning, the knowledge, the support. But it starts by, first of all, selling a goal that is big enough and compelling enough for you to then do everything that it takes to reach it. Other people are more practical, more grounded. They want to put their feet on solid ground. They want to take the first step, put the plan into place, put the action into place, achieve it, then the next step, then the next step. And every time they're on firm bearings, they will figure out the next step. They do not want to know everything in advance. They know where they want to go, they know what's waiting for them, but they don't need to figure it all out to the end. They take little bites, little achievable steps, and they're no less determined or no less motivated than the one who sets the compelling goal and goes to it with a full plan. If you imagine being a child and reaching for what you want, including stealing the candy, children reach goals fearlessly because they haven't been scarred by those endless limitations that life puts on us as we grow up. Obviously, some children have insecure attachments which scar them already at that age. But generally, you will walk into a room and find a child stacking things to get onto toys or things that you've put away that they shouldn't have or don't seem to have value in them, but they find that value and they go for those things without all the fears and the stereotypes and every limitation. But as adults, it's either we are scared or our goals are not big enough. So I think we need to A, get over the limitations, and B, set ourselves compelling enough goals to make us go for them no matter what. So the conclusion for this really little slide here is it's two things. A, your goal needs to be big enough. It needs to align with your circumstances. It needs to align with your family. And then you reach for it. Don't start with defining your limitations. Don't start with defining your circumstances. Start by asking yourself what you want. When that thing is good enough, you will find whatever you need to get to it. So, do you need to redefine those goals? Do you need to redefine the values you give yourself? And so what? You have limitations. So what if your ladder is broken? How can you fix it? Self-education, self-growth, self-acceptance. What do you need to mend those broken pieces on your ladder? What alternatives do you need? Because the education will elevate your mind to a point where you see endless possibilities outside of brokenness, outside of just the ladder. You find yourself presented with breaches, presented with jets, presented with other things that elevate you further than you could even imagine if you invest in yourself. See beyond those broken pieces on the ladder. Ask yourself, and then what? How else can you get to those destinations? Can you fly? Can you walk? Can you drive? Can you swing? It doesn't have to be a ladder. It doesn't have to stay broken. And that's my little message for you. If it's broken, build it, mend it, do something, imagine an alternative, borrow a ladder, do something that elevates you past the broken pieces that you define for yourself, that you inherited from your family, that have been instilled in you by life circumstances. Mend your broken pieces, build new ones, find alternative travel methods. Don't let those goals and those dreams and those visions slip away because you were dealt a bad hand, because you made mistakes that broke you or broke others. How can we mend those broken ladders? How can we carry on irrespective of their existence? I just thought I'd throw in a slide, put in these visuals, bring another angle to the learning. So please do put a comment and let me know if this extra slide at the end of the actual video and message itself made any difference to your learning and embedding this message. And above all, share it. I cannot stretch enough the importance of planting those hybrid seeds in yourself, seeing that high value goal, looking beyond the limitations that lie within our faces and seeing alternative ways to reach those beautiful destinations, and don't remain stuck. Thanks for watching. Bye.